It is a wonderful thing that each and every one of us is different. Imagine if everyone was identical to each other. Life would be so boring. But it often happens that differences between one another can cause people to judge each other. Unfortunately, bullies don't stop to think about how it makes a person feel to be constantly ridiculed and laughed at based on their differences. If they did, I think the world would be a kinder place. Today, I want to tell you the story of a girl who went through many trials in her life, including severe bullying. Jacqueline Aiden, a girl from a small American city, was never known to be particularly thin. She had a somewhat large frame and her weight continued to increase every month. But she was such a cheerful person that her friends and boyfriend Kevin never really noticed her size. Jacqueline's biggest childhood dream was to go to Disneyland. One year, her dream was destined to come true as she made the trip in the company of her friends and Kevin. However, she did not take into account one thing. At the entrance to most amusement parks is a turnstile through which people have to pass with their tickets. This park was no exception, and when it was time for Jacqueline to go through, she came to an unpleasant realization. It turned out that due to her size, she simply could not make it through the turnstile and actually got stuck. Jacqueline was so embarrassed and ashamed. The nearby children all laughed at the overweight girl who was now a hostage of the turnstile. She was so tightly stuck between the rails that she couldn't move forward or backward. The park staff managed to push Jacqueline back, and then she was admitted through the entrance that was intended for vehicle admittance. However, her troubles did not end there. The park was so vast that she simply didn't have the energy to walk such a distance, so she was provided with a motorized wheelchair that was meant for elderly visitors. Finally, it turned out that Jacqueline couldn't even ride any attractions because of her size. She was so upset that she ran to the bathroom and cried. After she made it home, Jacqueline firmly decided that it was time to start taking care of herself and lose weight in order to enjoy life. She trained hard and completely changed her diet. Jacqueline put in so much effort to get into shape and the pounds began to come off. However, she then had to deal with the loose skin that sagged from her figure. Jacqueline underwent several surgeries to remove the excess skin. She managed to improve the shape of her arms, back, and sides, and all that was left was her legs. Her leg skin sagged and created many folds, which collected sweat and brought discomfort to her. But Jacqueline did not despair because she knew she was on the right track. After all, she had already lost 330 pounds. She was no longer the same person. Jacqueline's new body brought her immense pleasure, and even though her legs were still hard to look at, she was proud of herself. Her boyfriend Kevin supported her through the entire journey. He went to the gym with her and helped her with rehabilitation after each operation. One day, Jacqueline and Kevin decided to go for a swim. The girl went to the pool wearing a long robe so as not to bring attention to her legs. When she got to the edge of the water, she took off the robe and was about to dive in when a young couple behind her laughed. They made no attempt to hide the fact that they were making fun of her big legs, laughing loudly and pointing their fingers. The former Jacqueline would have run away to cry in the bathroom as she did at Disneyland, but the new Jacqueline was different. Over the course of her intense training, she had strengthened her character so much that now petty people like this no longer bothered her. On the contrary, she looked at them with pity. After all, they could hardly travel the same road she had to. Now she was a true champion who could proudly look back at all of her achievements. Knowing how hard she worked for her new figure, the sagging skin on her legs didn't even bother her. Jacqueline understood that only weak-minded people take pleasure in laughing at others, but those who strive to make themselves better would never mock anyone. When Jacqueline started her journey, she decided to start blogging on social media. She shares her successes and achievements and also her failures, but the main thing was that she always persevered. Jacqueline also talks about the operations that she underwent. She shares her experience with people who, like her, want to change their lives for the better. Jacqueline gives her subscribers some tips that helped her in her experience. First, she advises people to set realistic, achievable goals that can be measured. For example, I want to lose weight by summer, and I want to lose 5 pounds in 3 months. If the goal is real and measurable, then its fulfillment can be easily tracked and therefore has a greater chance to be achieved and keep one motivated. Second, they should have a positive attitude. Jacqueline says that it is much more pleasant to rejoice at 1 pound gone than to cry over the fact that 10 pounds did not go away. Third, physical activity should be increased gradually so as not to get overwhelmed in the beginning. And fourth, don't listen to those who will tell you that you won't succeed. Let only kind, positive minded people be near you who will support you in difficult times. Thanks to these rules, Jacqueline managed to fulfill her dream. She started a new life and opened her own shop where she makes and sells healthy treats. Kevin proposed to her, and they are very happy together.